Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Ben from ShouldIGetIt.com. I am a professional automotive and portrait photographer based in San Jose, California. And in this series, I'm going to be teaching you how to use your DSLR camera to take photos of your cars, your friends' cars, or cool cars that you see at your local shows. So for this series, you're going to need a few things and just about an hour of time each week. These episodes are going to come out at 9 a.m. every Thursday, that's Pacific Standard Time. And then if you have an hour on Saturday or Sunday, take your camera out, take your car out, and definitely follow along and shoot. So in this episode, we are going to cover a few things. We're going to cover the first thing that you need, which is a circular polarizer filter. We're going to talk about the software that we're going to use and a little bit about how to save yourself from having some photos that turn out really cool but you can't use because of minor mistakes that I've seen beginners make. So in this episode, I'm going to be shooting on a Nikon D90. So if you have a camera that's basically a D90 or above, so anything Canon, anything Nikon that's come out in the last like 10 years, you can use with any lens that you have for it. And you just need a circular polarizer filter, which I'll show you in a second. Now, just so you guys know, for all the shots that I'm taking here, it's with the flash off mode. So it's basically auto and then flash off on Nikon. There's a similar mode on Canon cameras. And basically that'll keep the flash from popping up. And we're gonna learn manual mode in a later episode. So let's talk about what you need. You're gonna need a DSLR camera, like I said, anything that's relevant from Canon or Nikon or Fujifilm or Pentax or whatever camera brand you might have. You just need to be able to put a circular polarizer on it. You'll need a tripod for later episodes because I'm going to show you some cool effects like how to clone cars and make it look like there's two of them. And you're going to need about an hour of time every week. Now, let's start with the circular polarizer. If you talk to any automotive photographer, they're going to tell you the first thing you should get is a circular polarizer filter. This one was about $25. It's from Amazon Basics. And you'll see there's a huge range. This one's about $25. The one that I have for my Nikon D800 is $150, I think. It's for the same lens, but it's a higher end one. But I used this for about a year and I used it on professional shoots and it was fine. It's just easier if you have a higher end one later on in Photoshop and Lightroom. So I'm going to take a picture right now, show you what it looks like without the polarizer, and then we're going to put this on. And if you've ever worn polarized sunglasses, this is a pretty similar thing. So we're going to take a photo of the car from here right now. I don't know if you guys can see me, but I'm just going to take one shot right here, and you'll see that there is a big reflection on the driver's side door and window. So you can see, you can't see the seat at all right there. It's just a huge reflection of the sun. It's super bright. Now, if we take the polarizer and we twist it in the front, it's going to just get rid of that reflection right there. Now you can see there's a little bit of reflection or a haze over the windshield. So what we're going to do is spin it and we can get rid of that a little bit, but it brings back the reflection of the door. And then in Photoshop, we can put those two together to get rid of all the reflections on the car and make it look really cool. Now, what you do is you just twist this and you can literally see the reflections changing as you look through the viewfinder. It's really easy to use and it's going to make your photos look a ton better. So again, these are $25 for most of them. If you don't know which size to get, send me a picture of your lens on Instagram, DM me. I'm at A Car Photographer. I'll put that in the description below and I'll help you out. I'll send you the link to the Amazon filter that you need. And that's about it. So right now I'm going to take some photos of this car. I'm going to show you a couple of tips for detail shots, show you a example of polarization again by using this filter, and then we're going to go into Lightroom and we're going to talk about how to tag your images. So let's say a year from now you want to find a particular photo, it'll be really easy for you to find. So let's start shooting and I'll give you some tips. So the first tip is watch out for your shadow, okay? So you can see that there's this giant shadow of me on the car right now, and that's because we're shooting in pretty harsh sunlight. This is not ideal, but what you can do is combat this in two ways. One, you can either, let's say if you're doing a detail shot, use your shadow to your advantage to get rid of some reflections, or you can step away from the car and zoom in. So what I'm going to do right now is take a photo of the whole car. You can see my shadow is in here. I'm just going to back up and I'm going to keep zooming on the camera lens and twist the polarizer and get that shot. So now my shadow isn't in it. Be careful not to be like this close to the car and then zoom out and then you get a photo like this where you have your shadow on the ground. You are going to take that photo, and even if it looks cool, lighting wise, if your shadow's in it, you probably won't want to post it anywhere. Now the other thing, let's say you're taking a detail shot like this, right? You want to just get this Mini Cooper badge right here. You can see if I take it like that, there's this harsh shadow of me on the left side. But what I could do is get a little bit closer, you know, try to stand as big as I possibly can, and then zoom in and just use that shadow to my advantage to get the light to be really nice and soft, and I can get a much cleaner file like that. So that's just another tip for you. And then the biggest thing that even I forgot right now, since I wasn't really shooting the car from that side, is clean up as much as you can in real life. Don't depend on Photoshop for it or Lightroom. So let's say there's the radar detector in the front right here. If you don't want that in the final photo, all you have to do is use your hands and take the radar detector off, and it's gone. So that's going to make it a lot easier than doing it in Photoshop. Same thing if there's like leaves on the ground or trash. Bring a broom with you in your car, or you know, kick it off to the side so it's not in your photo. Make sure you get as good of a shot as you possibly can while you're actually there on location, and then you can take it into Lightroom and edit. So right now we're going to head over to the computer, edit some of these photos, and I'm going to show you how to import properly, export properly, and show you how helpful Lightroom can be for cleaning up minor things. Now let's move on to that. All right, so now that we've shot some photos, we are going to get started with Adobe Lightroom. Lightroom is going to be where you will be organizing all of your photos and doing a majority of your editing. This is going to help organize all your pictures so that you can always find the right files. This is going to help you move between Lightroom and Photoshop, and this is also going to help you do a lot of editing. And this application is actually fairly simple. It is a must-have for any type of photography. I highly recommend it. And if you don't already have Lightroom, you can get it here at the link that's going to be in the description. It is only $9.99 a month. I highly recommend it. And you get Photoshop for that price as well. So there's going to be a link down below. You can use that. You can sign up, and you just pay per month. So it's $10 a month. It's just a little bit more than Netflix, and it's totally worth it. So now we have the memory card in the computer. We're going to hit this import button here in the bottom left, and we're going to choose the memory card from the left side. And since I use this on 2 cameras, I have to choose right here the photos that we shot outside. So you can see that these are all, you know, titled DSC blah 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 .nef. NEF means it's a RAW file for Nikon, and if you're on a Canon, it's going to be .cr2. So if you're shooting in RAW, it will not say .jpeg. And now we're going to do a couple of things. First, we are going to go to file renaming. So I'm going to call this Mini Cooper S in bowling alley parking lot. Okay. So now I know the car and I know the location. Now what I'm going to do is use keywords. So I'm going to add keywords to this, such as Mini Cooper S, automotive, right? So if you're doing, you know, different genres, I would do the genre that you're doing, the color of the car, so let's say orange, and then the owner of the vehicle as well. So this way, if you ever need to find photos of Mini Coopers that you'll shot, you'll be able to find it. If you ever need to find photos of cars that you've shot, this will show up. If you need to find photos of things that are orange or orange cars, you can find it there. And if you need to find cars owned by Ben, then you can do that. So you can put as many keywords as you want. Keep in mind, the more keywords you use, the better. And then I'm going to show you how to add some additional keywords as well once we import. So then what we're going to do is hit the import button. The photos are going to start loading, and I just want to show you really quickly how helpful this is. So in my library full of 17,000 photos, I have shot multiple Ferrari 458s, and as you can see right here, if I type in Ferrari 458 Italia, it's every car that is a Ferrari 458 Italia. Let's say I just want to find photos of a Speciale that I've shot, so I type Ferrari 458 Speciale or Speciale, and it will find the images there. So it's a nice way to group it as well. Same thing with the Jaguar F-Type. I've shot a black convertible and a white coupe, and the coupe was a car that I reviewed on this YouTube channel. So if I just type Jaguar review, then any Jaguar that I've used in a car review is going to show up there, which is awesome. So that is step one to importing. You want to make sure you title your files and keyword them. Now let's say that someday, this exhaust right here is a Borla exhaust. You guys can see someday I'll want to go through all my pictures that have the Borla exhaust. Maybe I'll want to send it to Borla, right? So I can select multiple images. So I can just hold Command and tap on a second image. And what I can do is go to the keywording right here, and I can add keywords. So I can say Borla exhaust, right? And hit enter on there. So now these images right here, you can see, don't have the Borla exhaust tag, and these two do. So if I were to search in my gallery here for images that have the Borla exhaust, those two images will show up. So this will make it really easy for you one day to find it. Or let's say you're shooting, like HRE wheels, right? And you at some point want to send a bunch of pictures to HRE, and you've shot a ton of cars. You can search just by the wheel, depending on what you tag. So tagging your images is super important. Now I'm going to quickly go through how I select which images I'm going to post, which ones I'm going to edit, and which ones I'm going to delete. This is done through keyboard shortcuts, and it's especially helpful later on. So the keyboard shortcuts that you need to know are 6, 7, and 8. So these are very important here. Whoops. So 6 is red, then you have yellow, and then green. I really just use yellow and green. Yellow means I'm going to edit a picture, and then once I'm done editing, I will hit 8 to make it green. And then if you want to delete an image or reject it, you can press X, and you'll see that it grays out. And then at the end, let's say I was to go like this, you can hit Command Delete, and it will say, do you want to delete these 3 images? So that way, it's not just that you don't want the files, you can delete them all at the same time and make it really easy. So keyboard shortcuts are really nice. If you accidentally, let's say, mark an image improperly, you can just hit U to remove that rejection flag, and it'll be fine. Then another cool thing is, let's say, I chose to delete these ones, and then I just want to see the photos that are not rejected, right? So I want to not delete these yet, but I want to see what I have. I can hit Attributes, and then I can just hit Not Flagged, right? Unflagged photos, and I can see all those photos. Or let's say I say, this right here is the best picture, so I put a P on it for a pic, and this one, and let's say this one. I'm just choosing photos at random, right? I can hit the flagged photos button, and these will be my top selections. So let's say the images I want to send to the person who owns the car, and then for myself, let's say I edited 10 of them, right? So I have 10 photos that are green, but I only want to send the top ones. Then you can use the picking tool. So there are a lot of different ways to organize your images and narrow it down, because a lot of times you'll have, like, you can see these 5 photos right here. If we select them all and then press N, we can see them side by side. They all look pretty similar, right? So you don't want to send somebody 5 pictures from the same exact angle and look. You want to find the best one, narrow it down, put them side by side, and then choose which ones you want to send, and you can press P to flag as a pic, and then you can just go like this, and then right click, export all of these images, and that way you have the best ones. So importing into Lightroom, the more time you put into it, the more time you will save further down the line. I'm telling you this from experience. If you don't do it, you will end up waiting a few months, and then just like you'll have one day where you'll sit for 2 hours and just organize all your photos and keyword and tag. And it's super helpful, because then let's say you run out of hard drive space and you're like, okay, I don't need the photos from my photo shoot last year that I did of this Mini Cooper S. I just want to keep the ones that are really good, which were the green ones, right? Then I could do anything that is not green, I can do, or unlabeled, right? So let's say if it's green or yellow or red, then they'll all show up here, and then I can just, of course, select all and hit delete, and that way it'll clear up space. So this will save you a ton of time and effort further down the line. So if you have any questions about this, send me an Instagram DM at @acarphotographer. Play around with it. If you need help, Google. There's a ton of Lightroom tutorials, both on YouTube and written ones, but it should be pretty easy to figure out. And then one more thing is, how do you actually export the pictures, right? So we're not going to talk about watermarks or anything, just optimal settings for Facebook and Instagram. This is what I use. So let's say, want this one image right here. So I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to hit export, and then I will just put it on the desktop, right? So it says users, my name, desktop, and then you can rename the file. So let's say Mini Cooper S test. And then we're going to scroll down, and for the size, you want to do quality 100 right here. So if you want the best quality, do quality 100. And then resize to fit, you want the long edge to be 2,448 pixels and resolution about 300 to 330. So once you select that, you hit export, and then you'll see this bar right here. It will pop, and there you go. So now I can go to my desktop. I have this Mini Cooper S test file, and now I can, iMessage it, or put it on Facebook, or put it on Instagram, or do whatever I want with it, and it's all set to go. So this has been episode 1 of Shooting Cars. What we learned today is why you need a polarizer, what you need to follow along, and how to get started importing and organizing your photos in Adobe Lightroom. These are the fundamentals that we are going to be learning in the first few episodes.
Hopefully this helps you get a start. If you just got a camera, get out there and shoot. If you don't have a car but you want to start shooting cars, go to a dealership, go to a parking lot, do something where you can practice these techniques and you can at least have files to import and play around with the different things we talked about, like not getting your shadow in the photos like this. So make sure you step back and zoom in, and use a polarizer to get rid of reflections, like you can see right here. So here again, the reflection on the back, and you can see the power lines, and then you cut down the reflection. And of course, when you can, clean the car out. So you guys can see I left the radar detector right here, and I should have just taken that out. Now, a quick note, in the next few episodes, we're going to be talking about angles, minor edits with Lightroom. And so one thing I want to show you really quick, let me see if I can find an example, is how to remove small pieces of dirt here and there. So in this image, there's not much on the floor, thankfully, but let's say there's these two little rocks right here, and there's this spot. So if I want to get rid of that, there is this magical tool called spot removal, and I'm going to go way further in depth in a later episode, but you just use it and you'll see pretty quickly you can start cleaning up the ground. So here's the before, here's the after. And then later on in the series, we are going to get into editing photos in terms of doing color, black and white, more detail, making the wheels stand out by lightening them up, playing with the colors, and all that good stuff. So if you like this, please subscribe. Episode 2 will be coming out on Thursday at 9 a.m. rather, Pacific Standard Time. Hopefully this helps you. I would love to be a better educator for you. So if you have any feedback, again, send it to me on Instagram at @carphotographer. Make sure to subscribe, and I will talk to you guys next Thursday. Have a great week, and go shoot some cars. Peace.